Imagine a sky shimmering not with stars, but with impossibly vast ships, their hulls reflecting our own bewildered faces back at us. That was the day contact was confirmed, the day humanity leaned forward, holding its collective breath, waiting for a galactic handshake, a cosmic how-do. We dreamt of this moment for centuries, etching our hopes into radio waves and golden records flung into the void. We prepared for everything: war, peace, a baffling exchange of knowledge. We prepared for anything, except for the one thing that actually happened: nothing. They arrived without a sound, a fleet of silent gods hanging over our most populated cities. Global communications went haywire, not because they were jammed, but because every channel, every screen was filled with a single, serene image of their vessel. We transmitted greetings in every language known to man, from binary to ancient Sumerian. We sent mathematics, music, our finest art. We offered the sum of human experience on a silver platter, and in return, a profound, deafening silence. They didn't respond, they didn't attack, they didn't even seem to notice us. Days turned into weeks. The initial panic and awe curdled into a strange, planet-wide anxiety. Governments held emergency sessions that achieved nothing. Scientists stared at incomprehensible energy readings, their theories turning to dust. The ships were there, an undeniable, Everest-sized fact in our sky, yet they remained utterly aloof. It was like a child shouting for its parents' attention, only for the parent to continue staring blankly at a wall. The feeling wasn't fear anymore. It was a deep existential chill. We were being ignored. Life had to go on, but it was a bizarre new normal. People would go to work, their gazes constantly drifting upward. Commutes were snarled not by traffic, but by drivers stopping in the middle of the road to stare at the silent leviathans. News anchors, having run out of experts to interview, simply showed live feeds of the ships for hours on end. A new kind of philosophy began to emerge, one centered on cosmic insignificance. Were we just an ant colony on the side of a highway they were building? Were our frantic attempts at communication nothing more than meaningless chops to their advanced senses? Then, the construction began. Without any warning, beams of light, solid as steel, lanced down from the ships, not to our cities, but to the barren places of the world. The deserts of the Sahara, the ice sheets of Antarctica, the deepest trenches of the Pacific. They weren't harvesting resources in a way we understood. They were building. Crystalline structures grew from the sand and ice, glowing with an internal light, humming with an energy that made the air thrum. They were terraforming, but not for us. They were renovating the house without ever acknowledging the current tenants. Humanity's reaction was fractured. Some factions screamed for an attack, a desperate attempt to prove we existed, even if it meant our own destruction. Better to be swatted than ignored, they argued. But what could we possibly do? Our most powerful weapons were like pebbles against their hulls. Others fell into a deep apathy, a global depression born from the crushing realization of our own, and a strange few formed cults, worshipping the silent visitors as gods, interpreting their indifference as a divine test of faith. They built shrines in the shadow of the alien construction, chanting to beings who paid them no mind. We tried to get closer. Drones sent to investigate the structures were simply unmade. They didn't explode. They just dissolved into their constituent atoms as they crossed an invisible perimeter. Manned missions were deemed too risky, a suicide run for the sake of a closer look. We were quarantined, not by force, but by a technological gap so vast it was indistinguishable from magic. They had drawn a line, and we were on the outside, looking in at a new world being built on top of our own. The sheer scale of it was humbling and terrifying. Entire mountain ranges were reshaped in a matter of hours. New, impossible ecosystems bloomed in the most inhospitable environments. We watched through our telescopes and satellite feeds as they built cities that defied physics, with spires that pierced the clouds and causeways of pure light. They were building a civilization for themselves, or perhaps for someone else entirely, and our planet was merely the foundation, a convenient piece of real estate. The day they left was as silent and sudden as the day they arrived. The construction was complete. The earth was scarred and remade, dotted with these gleaming, silent monuments. One moment, the ships filled our sky. The next, they were gone, vanishing without a ripple. They left behind their cities, their strange new landscapes, and the crushing, undeniable proof of our own insignificance. They had come, they had built, and they had left, all without a single word. It was the ultimate cosmic insult. We are now the caretakers of a world that is not entirely our own. We study the alien cities from a distance, forever locked out. Our science, our philosophy, our very sense of self has been irrevocably altered. The question is no longer, are we alone in the universe? We know the answer. The new, more painful question is, does it even matter that we are here? They didn't come to conquer us. They didn't come to enlighten us. They came, they saw, and they completely, utterly ignored us. And that, perhaps, is the most devastating first contact imaginable. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a thought experiment on what might be the strangest outcome of first contact. What do you think would happen to humanity in this scenario? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into science fiction and cosmic questions. It really helps the channel grow. Until next time, keep looking up.